Providence had always been a quiet town, full of winding roads, weathered buildings, and a population that knew one another too well. Life was predictable, steady. Until people began disappearing. At first, no one made the connection. A college student vanished walking home from the library. A gas station clerk locked the doors one night and never came back. A family of 3 was reported missing after a birthday party, their cake still sitting untouched on the kitchen table. These events, while deeply unsettling, were written off as isolated tragedies. Then the photos started surfacing. It began with a student working on a photography project for her art class. She had been capturing daily life, streets, cafes, schoolyards, and while reviewing her film roll, she noticed something. A man. Always in the background. At first glance, he was easy to miss. Average height, average build, forgettable clothing. But the more she looked, the more disturbing it became. His face was always different. In some photos, he appeared middle-aged. In others, younger. His skin tone varied. So did his hair. But one detail remained consistent: he was always looking directly at the camera. When she showed her professor, he dismissed it as coincidence. But that night, she didn't come home. By the end of the week, a local Reddit thread exploded with similar sightings. Gas station security tapes, wedding videos, live streams, all featured the same unremarkable man, appearing in places he had no reason to be. Some claimed they saw him inside their homes, caught only for a split second in the reflection of a mirror or the lens of a doorbell cam. But when police investigated, there was never a trace. No one could identify him. Because he always looked like someone else. Detective Jason Merrick was no stranger to weird cases. 20 years on the force had left him with a hardened view of humanity and a deep skepticism of internet rumors. But even he couldn't ignore the growing pile of missing persons files. Over 30 cases in just 4 months. No evidence. No leads. One night, while reviewing surveillance footage from a gas station near the outskirts of town, he noticed a man standing in the far corner of the screen, his head just slightly turned toward the camera. Jason paused the tape. Zoomed in. Average build. Clean jacket. Neutral face. But the way the man looked at the camera chilled him. It was too direct, too knowing. Jason began cross-referencing photos. Security footage from stores. Cell phone snaps from missing persons cases. Traffic cams. Every image had a version of the man. Slight differences, always just enough to seem different. But Jason saw the pattern. He enhanced one image, pulling up facial recognition software. The software matched the face to a missing postal worker from 2 months ago. Then he tried another. That one matched a local barber who vanished the week before Christmas. Then a schoolteacher. Then a teenage boy from the east side. The same man. Morphing. Replacing. Stealing faces. Jason's stomach turned. It didn't make sense. This wasn't identity theft. It was something else entirely. Then he found it. A blurry photo taken during a charity parade. The man stood behind a group of children. Only his head was visible. Jason enhanced the image and froze. His mouth went dry. The face was his. Jason didn't sleep that night. He kept returning to the photo. It wasn't just someone who looked like him, it was him. His eyes. His jawline. Even the scar above his right eyebrow from a car accident as a kid. But he had never been at that parade. He remembered being on patrol miles away. He went back to the department's evidence room and began digging deeper. Files of every missing person in Providence. Every case file had at least one photo with the man present. But it wasn't just that. He was always the last person seen near the missing. Jason's mind raced. What if the man didn't just take faces? What if he took their place? A horrifying theory began to form. Jason rechecked the case of a man named Caleb Dunn, a quiet accountant who went missing last winter. Caleb's face matched the man in a video from a grocery store, taken after the time of his reported disappearance. Caleb's family never noticed anything strange. Said he came home for a few days, acted a little weird, then vanished again. They assumed stress or a mental breakdown. But what if it wasn't Caleb? What if the man became them? Jason thought about himself. Had anyone said he'd been acting strange recently? Had anyone spoken to someone who looked like him? He called his sister. "Hey," he said, voice trembling, "just out of curiosity, when's the last time we talked?" She paused. "You were here 2 nights ago, remember? You came by for dinner." Jason froze. "No. I wasn't." Jason felt the walls close in. If the man had already taken his face, was he next? Was he being erased? He looked up the parade footage again. Checked the timestamp. Checked his logs. That day, he had a call that took him out of town. A domestic dispute that turned out to be a prank call. No arrest. No evidence. Nothing. A setup. Someone, or something, had lured him away. He began to feel watched, even in his own home. Mirror seemed off. Cameras glitched for a second too long. His voice recorder picked up strange distortions when he played it back. Like whispers layered beneath his own voice. One night, Jason turned off all the lights and pointed his phone camera at his reflection. What he saw wasn't himself. It was the man. Wearing his face. Smiling faintly. Jason ran. He drove to the police station, heart pounding. But the officers looked at him oddly. One of them leaned in. Detective Merrick already clocked in this morning. Jason's blood turned to ice. He wasn't just being replaced. He had already been. Weeks later, the town of Providence returned to normal. The disappearances stopped. The case files were quietly closed. People forgot. Detective Merrick continued his work, sharp as ever, polite, professional. He still smiled for photos. And in the corner of every new picture, there was always a man in the background. Average. Blurry. Different. Always watching.